Thank you for auditing the Always Positive New Music Review Show, hosted by a French professor who knows that his glasses are a little wonky. Okay, Toby chewed on them. I sat on them. Bad dog, bad human. Let's get to the review of the new song Never Felt So Alone by Labrinth, featuring co-production by Phineas and some singing by Billie Eilish. I first off want to tell you, I just read about this song this morning. And, sometimes you might be wondering, what is a professor doing when they are proctoring an exam? You're there and you're taking the test and you're tired and palms are sweaty, mom's spaghetti, and you're sitting there and the professor's there. He's in his jacket, he's in his shirt, he's in his button up, and he's looking very kind of seriously. He's adjusting his tragically messed up glasses. Well, what I was doing today was I was listening to this song on repeat. I had my headphones in. So while they were taking the Chapter 3 test in French 111, I was listening to Never Felt So Alone. Da, da. I was just jamming out to the song, and let's talk about it, okay? This is, I love talking about generations. I know it seems simplistic, but it's important, Different generations require different emotions, all right? They require different emotions to be reflected back at them, right? The sort of optimism of the 60s didn't really work in the 90s, and the sort of pointless pessimism of the 90s didn't work in the 2000s. There's just different emotions that require different soundscapes, So this song, I think, is really the very best in the sort of Zoomer production and songwriting. Labrinth is a producer who I don't know that well, except that my daughter, who's 15 years old, beyond loving Billie Eilish so much that she owns the Billie Eilish ukulele, has been just telling me about Labrinth for the last couple of years. And she doesn't watch Euphoria, thankfully, but she does listen to the soundtrack. And it's been very clear to me what I've listened to, what I've been exposed to, that his sort of interesting, dark, well-layered, it's sort of like, it seems to me that he's able to sort of do in production what Weeknd is able to do with vocals. That kind of bizarrely dark but hauntingly moving and transcendently beautiful production appears to be what Labrinth is doing, and that's certainly what's happening on this song. So this song does so many things, It manages to be catchy. It manages to be what the Zoomers call a bop, while at the same time, having so much interesting production techniques and approaches that it makes a professor who sits at the front of his class looking like this, and you think he's thinking about Wittgenstein or Roland Barthes. No, he's just thinking, I've never felt so alone, gonna shut off my computer sound. So it starts off with this odd screaming. And this is, a very sort of modern sounding production trick here. I believe Labrinth is taking the sound of a scream and putting it into a synthesizer and then assigning, different notes to that scream, almost like a sort of a manual auto-tune. But what I love is that these kind of weird pitch-corrected sounds are being played in this very odd and unsettling descending scale. I'm not Adam Neely. I don't know if these are chromatic scales or there's something off about this little opening scale, but it doesn't even really matter because it's only the very beginning. But it sets you in this weird space and it starts and it just settles into this just deep head nodding beat. What's cool is that the keyboards are playing, it's almost like an electric piano, din, 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 very simple, just a couple chords, maybe two chords, maybe a third chord comes in there, din, 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 din. But then there's this head nodding 808 drum beat that's just way behind. So this is up here, din, 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 but then the drum beat's like, din, din. Drum beat's back here. See what I'm saying? See, that's where the drum beat is? This looks kind of cool. That's what's happening. And this just beautiful, and it sets this mode, and this great happy, sad pop aesthetic comes in, I don't know if we can credit Billie Eilish entirely for the happy, sad pop aesthetic, but Billie Eilish is often sad music that makes you happy. Now, of course, sad music that makes you happy goes back forever, okay? Obviously the Smiths are one of my favorite bands, and their sad music that makes you happy. But here, there's something about the way this chorus comes in. I've never felt so alone. Fine, no problem. I've heard it 1,000 times, I've heard it 1,000,000 times. It's the na-na. I've never felt so alone. Na na. The na na is a pop thing. That is a pop indicator. It's like na 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 na. J Giles band sucks. I don't care if I'm from Boston. It's that kind of thing. You know, that's what na 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 is for. And so pairing these things together, there you go. There's the sad, I've never felt so alone, and na na. Also, this atmosphere, I believe, is intentionally made so that it'll work perfectly for TikToks of people either being actually sad or ironically sad. You can do either one. The song's made for TikTok. Don't get mad at me. I didn't make TikTok. I'm not the Chinese government. I'm not the American government pretending to be the Chinese government who made TikTok. George Bush made TikTok. Look it up, people. The truth. Just do your own research, okay? George Bush is on the executive board and is the shadow CEO of TikTok. Look it up. But, sorry, I'm feeling goofy. It's Friday today, baby. Did I just say baby? Wow, it's super Friday right now. But, you know, it's able to really create this atmosphere that I think will work perfectly for TikToks because it's either ironic sad or it's real sad. It works both. Hey, I got a little bit of time today. Maybe I'll do a TikTok with it. Did you hear that sound? That's the sound of my children screaming. And then we get to the first verse, you know, and there's just so much amazing production in this opening verse. This is Labrinth singing. He's got this beautiful voice. It's like cut up and choppy, like kind of nightmare sounds. And then there's like basically Migos style ad libs, but they're done in this very sort of far away way. You know, they're not, Migos ad libs are often kind of upbeat, but these are just kind of like, oh, you know, these great staccato sounds. This feels to me, you know, very inspired by or perhaps part of the whole hyperpop aesthetic of chopping up words and making words feel like little individual units of sound as opposed to parts of sentences. And you can take those units of sound and mix them up and move them all around. Slam dam, back it up and reverse it. You could do all those things. And meanwhile, the thematics are the modern thematics, which, you know, I'm teaching a class today on Drake. I don't know how that's going to go. We'll see. But you know, the main themes of Drake are luxury and emptiness, you know, and the emptiness of luxury. Let's give Drake some credit. He does a great job of reflecting our time back to ourselves in a whip, thinking, what if you and this never existed? Hollow kiss, bottle liquor, man, I'm sick, I'm a schizo. If I told you this was very ableist terminology, but if I told you this was a Drake song, you'd believe it, you know, because it's about the sadness of a breakup and feeling empty and being all emo despite the fact that you're in a whip. Also, let's imagine this song by the Migos. In a whip, whoa, thinking what if, whoa, you and this, whoa, never existed. Offset, right? It kind of works. And then we get to the pre-chorus, which is sung in this like James Blakean way. All white leather, you know this ain't ish without you in the interior. I'm dying somewhere in the dark. So dark. His voice is so beautiful, so haunting. Before we get to the chorus, there's like a sound of like a synthesizer making the sound almost like a video game of a car decelerating, you know, like downshifting. Then we get to this chorus where it's harmonizing. Finally, Billie Eilish pops in, harmonizing so beautiful, so emotional. There's even this woo with Labrinth. It's the same, never felt so alone, na na, but just these two voices together. And then we get the second verse from Who Eilish. Who? Where did she come from? Seriously, where did this Billie Eilish come from? Where did this voice come from? This is like Alanis-inspired voices. Like, this does not sound like the whisper. This sounds like a pop-punk diva. And I, to use the modern parlance, am here for it. It's nice hearing Billie sing in a different way, in a way where you wouldn't even necessarily know it was her, you know? Who knew you were just out to get me? The way she sings these lines, my whole world just fell apart, you know? And I mean this in a good way. It sounds like it could be a sample from Avril Lavigne. And then we get to the outro. That's where we get the Billie Eilish whisper, where she says the chorus this time, never felt so alone. And the way she says nah, nah really emphasizes the strength of it. Labrinth ends this, I could never be more alone than when I ain't got you here. It's spoken like a punchline. It's just a perfect, it's under 3 minutes maybe. This video's under 10 minutes, not bad. It's just this perfect, awesome pop song of the moment, very exciting. And I have a little rash there that makes it look like I got bit by a vampire. There was a Morbius sighting, and what can I do? All right, until next time, there's the camera.